Boy in Red didn't really do much for me.
Well, this
It's
is a
like,
rhetorical question because I know Dominic Fike is your favorite light skinned man of all time, so I knew where you were headed with this answer.
no, it might
I,
be Drake.
it might be Drake is hilarious. Woo! Oh my God, this podcast is already off the rails. I love it. Good afternoon, beautiful people. This is another episode of Album Mode. We review a new album every single week. We look at the lyrics, the production, the overall aesthetic of the album, and how that album fits into the context of that artist's career. For everyone watching on YouTube, we thank you. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to us, and leave us a comment. Let us know how wrong we always are. My name is Adriel Smiley, aka Champion Scribe, and we are here with His Royal Highness, aka the Bunny, aka the biggest munch of them all, aka Green Goblin, King Grants.
What's happening, people? We're back. Album mode. This time we're reviewing Isaiah Rashad, his latest album. It's been awful. Isaiah Rashad, uh, singer slash hip hop rapper slash artist that I have been very dubious about up until this very moment. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I've been actually, monitoring the Isaiah Rashad discourse as an observer because I've heard many Isaiah Rashad songs in my lifetime, and very few of them have impressed me. So I'm at a point now where I'm outside. I'm observing, and this review is another test of my wits to see if I can get on the boat. Adriel, how did you feel about Isaiah Rashad prior to this review? You are muted at this moment.
Who muted me? Um, Isaiah Rashad is one of those artists who is consistently good. So I was looking forward to this. He hasn't had a bad album from the ones that I have heard. Of course, you want to go back in the day, the pre-TDE era. All you diehard fans, you could tell me if those were still fire. But since TDE, I've liked all of his projects. Hasn't been a bad one. He doesn't have like a huge hit or anything. He's not that kind
Hmm.
of artist. He's more like if you know, you know. But he's been consistently putting out good music, and what I like about him is he stays to like a certain tone or sound, but it isn't homogenous.
Okay.
And I think like that kind of artist is hard to find where they're not making these big swings, but it still isn't all one sound.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that Isaiah Rashad is an interesting character for me. I think I've been introduced to his music by three separate people in my lifetime, and they've always, I don't know, the best way I could describe the way it has been described to me up until this moment, it's a vibe. It's a vibe, and it's a great
Really,
vibe. Huh?
really, that's what people are saying.
That people, many people are saying this.
I've never heard that about his music.
Many
Interesting.
people are saying this. I think it's more about the style of production that it sounds like, and just like what the music sounds like overall. Because when I ask people, you know, what's the music like? I'm like, what does it sound like? I kind of don't care about what the lyrics are when I'm first hearing on an artist's music because it's irrelevant. Like what your words are versus what your production, not even your production, just like what the music sounds like is secondary because ultimately it's music. I need to listen to it for fun. So when I ask people, I'm like, okay, what does it sound like? They're like, oh, it's like this and like that. I'm like, no, 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 no. Like when you're listening to it, what does it sound like? And they have described it as a vibe. You know, you don't think so?
I think that could be accurate. I've never heard anyone say that about his music. Like I don't those three people I don't know those three people who you know. So I'm surprised that that's what was said about his music in particular, but it's not totally wrong.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's totally wrong. I do want to go a little bit into his history and like how we got here because it's our first Isaiah Rashad review. So I think let's go back in time. If you're unfamiliar with him as an artist, we'll talk a little bit about his past. Originally from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Of course, known as an LA guy now with TDE, but originally from Tennessee. And this is where I heard of him. And I love when I hear of an artist is like the first thing in their like bio or page, because then I feel like the greatest hipster of all time. And I'm like, okay, so I was right where I was supposed to be. I heard of him in 2012. This is around the time. He was on tour on the Smokers Club tour. If you're of the age, you remember that tour very well. Juicy J, Joey Badass, Smoke Dizza. For anyone who went to that
Smoke
tour,
Dizza.
leave us a comment. If you know, you know. But that was kind of like his coming out party in a sense, where he was on stage with these guys around these, you know, bigger rappers from the blog era, minus Juicy J,
Hmm.
and that's kind of like put him on the map. In March of 2013, about a year later, he signs with TDE. And then in 2014, he releases his first extended play with TDE called Sylvia Demo, and it featured SZA, J Rock, Schoolboy Q, and at that time he was like the new TDE rapper that everyone's like, oh my god, TDE got one on the roster. And I think that's something to mention, kind of like at the start of his TDE career, because I compare it a little bit to Jid and Jid's hype joining Dreamville. Now, Isaiah Rashad wasn't as hyped, but he was
Hmm.
kind of one of those rappers who was known for being good. Like he didn't have a gimmick, he didn't have a sound,
Okay.
and it was kind of like he's just really good. That was like the buzz, you know, he's a really good rapper, makes really good songs,
Oh,
like
okay.
just known for being talented. I think that's like important to know going forward in his career. This is something I completely forgot about, but I think is important to mention here. He became addicted to Xanax and alcohol
Hmm.
after Sylvia demo to the point where Top Black had to step in. And so he took 2 years off and basically no one heard from him. And then once he came back, dropped his debut album, The Sun's Tirade, in 2016. After that, it was The House is Burning in 2021. And then we get this album 5 years later. And it's funny because he actually had a quote from the House is Burning era where he said he would never do this again. This is the quote. He said, hopefully, this is the start of something new. No more 5 year gaps. I tried to hone in on the energy of all types of music I grew up listening to, Texas bounce, Louisiana bounce, a little bit of neo soul in there. I tried to update it, flip it, and make it apply to how I be feeling nowadays. So, I hate to say it, Isaiah Rashad is not a man of his word because
Hmm.
definitely another 5 year gap between um albums. But he's a unique kind of artist where I think like he's not on the level of like the actual Mystique Kings, you know, the
Hmm.
Frank Oceans, the used to be Brent Faiyaz, the Weeknd in his, you know, aesthetic prime.
Yeah.
But I think he's like this new kind of artist where he's from the blog era and has his core fan base and is known as an album artist. And even though it's every 5 years or every, you know, so often, like that kind of artist, I don't think we have as much who like is starting out in the 2020s. Like this kind of artist is a 2010s artist that can take this time off, also be signed to a big label,
Hmm.
and be an album artist that people still respect.
Yeah, I think Isaiah Rashad, yes, the artist that people respect is the strong point, I think. I think that everybody reveres him. Maybe revere is too strong, but respect is definitely the word. Isaiah Rashad, I want you to lead the charge on this because I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with everybody. Isaiah Rashad has not impressed me up until this review. So basically, if you're gonna ask me like, oh, how do you feel about this in the past? How do you feel about that? I'm like, didn't really do it for me. I think he is, I think he's an interesting character in the hip hop, just because he's part of TDE or was part of TDE, and
I think he's still TDE. Is he
yeah,
not
he's still
TDE
TDE.
anymore?
So he's like
Yeah.
he's kind of like this person that comes and goes, like the wind, a little Absolish, but more prominent than Absol.
Interesting. I definitely would disagree with that. Like he's not nowhere close more prominent than Absol.
You don't think he's more
Um,
prominent than Absol?
Not even a little bit.
Really?
But no, not even close.
What do you wait? When you say prominent, when I say prominent, I'm like he is more visible.
No, I
Okay,
don't think that either.
okay.
Yeah, that's not true either.
Absol is
Um,
not on my. That's not my. It's not my
Not,
timeline.
not your timeline. But
Yeah.
that leads me to what I was gonna say next, because Absol's not necessarily my timeline either.
Uh-huh.
But I think he's a very like 2010s artist, not like in terms of his sound, but in terms of like his fan base and who's into him. And I think like there's almost like a going back in time in a sense where his fans are so diehard for him, and TDE has remained relevant this whole time that these gaps haven't actually affected his career in the same way.
Hmm.
There's still people wanting to talk about him, wanting to interview him, wanting to play his music. But he is very much a 2010s blog era artist, even though he technically came out after that. Like that's where his fans are coming from. Very interesting that you said that Absol, like he's much bigger than Absol, more visible than Absol. I think
Isn't
that's
he?
very, very interesting. Yeah,
I don't I don't I really I actually am okay, well,
no,
you always say that, say shit crazy, but I'm like, I don't even
no,
think it's
that's.
close.
I think,
Like,
I think that's the age difference.
I don't think it's close whatsoever. I think Isaiah Rashad is
Let's stop here for a second. What are you basing that off of?
people actually speaking about him, him releasing music, and then being visible at public appearances.
He releases music every 5 years and doesn't do interviews. And Absol released an album last year and has been on features ever since.
He released an album last year, but was anybody talking about it though?
Yeah, people had it as album of the year. People, Absol is a lot of people's
Really? Where is
favorite
that? Yo,
rapper.
where am I seeing?
Yeah, you're yeah
I
you're
don't even know
well.
what you're talking about genuinely at this
This is
point,
why I
bro.
say it's why I say it's an age difference because Absol, like this is one thing a metric I use a lot is like Absol is a lot of people's favorite rapper, favorite
Hmm.
TDE rapper, period, but like just favorite rapper. I've never heard that about Isaiah Rashad.
Okay.
So also with Isaiah Rashad, I feel like this is maybe an age thing,
Both of
and
these,
also
both of these artists we're talking about pretty low on my list of people that I care about in hip hop,
yeah,
to be honest
and
with you.
and it,
So,
and also too, I have a good sense of your algorithm and your
hmm.
social circle. I
Hmm.
I don't know any of your friends that are Absol fans or like you don't give me that vibe that you have some Absol fans in your life.
No.
There's a person we both know. Big shout out to Ralph, aka the Mayor. Huge Absol fan since the beginning. So these are the
Okay.
kind of people that I feel like you're just not, you know,
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
aware of or privy to. But let's talk about Isaiah Rashad. Let's give him his credit.
Okay.
I want to know what your favorite song from his is of all time. Favorite Isaiah Rashad song, just period.
If again, I'm being totally honest with everybody on this. I don't know what that is. Like I could not really name you an Isaiah
Just don't
Rashad
even
song.
have one.
No, not really.
Oh
Like
wow.
I could stall and then go look through and look through and look through and look through. But if you're asking me just like straight like off the top of my head, I probably couldn't even tell you.
Oh wow.
So
Okay. This is
that's
gonna be.
that's how I'm trying to explain to you how because like for example, like 5 years ago is 2021 at this point. What was
Mm-hmm.
happening in 2021? The
The Panzerati.
No, I know that. So the pandemic is happening.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, Doja Cat's hot that time. A whole lot of Red has already come out by then.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Yeet is just breaking out. Trying to think about what else is happening in hip hop at that time. It didn't feel very Isaiah Rashadish, at least in my again in my algo. My algo
Well,
is not Isaiah Rashad at this point.
I'll give you this. You named all artists who are way more popular than he is.
Right.
Like he's not known for his popularity. I
Dominic
think.
Fike happening at that time too,
Yep.
because that's
You are.
Euphoria times.
Yep. You're his biggest fan. Yep. So I think like Isaiah Rashad is one of those artists who, even though again he has a good fan base, he has some songs that stream well.
Hmm.
Popularity is not the name of his game.
Yeah.
That's not kind of what he's known for. My favorite song from him is R.I.P. Young.
Okay. Let me look this up.
Um, R.I.P. Young off of his last album,
House is burning.
The House is Burning. He has good records. I think that he's one of the artists who has good records, and it's funny because I'm gonna almost move the goalposts a bit for this review because he's an artist who I don't ever expect hits. Now he has a
Okay.
couple songs on this album that probably are the closest I think he's ever gotten to like having some kind of hit record, but he's one of those artists who he has kind of those like underground like internet hits Which it's funny. I've actually been outside and heard Isaiah Rashad's music play, and people be excited.
Wow.
So he has like those like cult classics in a sense that people like really, know and love, even though they might not play on the radio. The song I think of is like, Headshots is one of those.
Okay.
West Savannah was one of those before SZA was SZA. What's Wrong? Kendrick and Zakaria on that. That's one that people really like a lot.
You know what?
Um,
I there is a song now that I'm
mhm.
going through my likes, and it's also on the yacht rap playlist. What You Said with Doechii, Cal
Oh, that's a
Banks.
good one. That's a good one.
I would say that's my favorite because it's literally on the yacht rap playlist, and that is a hallowed playlist. Everybody, make sure you save the yacht rap playlist. So
Yeah,
I would
I'm
say
I'm
that's the song,
I'm gonna
but
bring that up later because there's a song on here that I think could actually go on the yacht rap playlist.
right.
But before we even talk about that, what do you think is the best feature on here?
Ooh, that is a great question. I think that the best feature is wait, this has features? Wait, hold
Did you
on a
listen to
second.
the album?
Yes, I did. Hold on a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Am I? Hold on. Do I have the right notes up? What's going on right now?
Oh my goodness, this guy.
Wait a second. Wait. No, we're talking about the same album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on a second. Maybe I just didn't write down my. The only feature that I remember seeing was the was the Dominic Fike one. That's part of the reason why I brought him up. Uh,
Well, that
there's
that
him,
that
and then
that
there's Julian Sinotia,
and
Sintonia.
yeah, and there's SZA as well.
This is the one.
Um,
So, Boy in Red didn't really do much for me.
well, this
It's
is a
like,
rhetorical question because I know Dominic Fike is your favorite light skinned man of all time, so I knew where you were headed with this answer.
no, it
Uh,
might be Drake.
it might be Drake is hilarious. Woo! Oh my God, this podcast is already off the rails. I love it. Um, okay, so you're saying the Dominic Fike song is the best feature on here.
I didn't
I
like.
think
I'm
it,
gonna be honest with you. I didn't like any of those three songs. Do I Look High? Maybe Do I Look High is probably the closest one to that I like. So maybe the Julian Sintonia.
hmm
And I think he's singing. I think he's singing the singing portion is him, I believe.
hmm
So I like that one the most. But again, neither all three of them not really very impressive in any way. The Dominic Fike feature kind of buns, man. I've not
Well,
liked a Isaiah. I haven't liked a Dominic Fike song in a little bit here, and I feel like he has cornered himself into being an R&B slash rock artist. When we were talking, I remember when we first reviewed his work, where we're like, oh, he's kind of like a rock artist with a hip hop aesthetic. This is on review number one, I think, or two of album mode that I'm recalling.
I would say
And
maybe one of the first 10. Number
yeah, it
one was
was
on
within the
T.
first three, genuinely.
hmm
And yeah, I remember us talking. I was like, oh, he's kind of like a rock artist with a hip hop aesthetic, but he's kind of abandoned that and has gone for a more rock artist with a pop alt pop aesthetic. And I think on cameras, it's kind of boxed himself into the to that space, in a way that is not very interesting. Because he's been
Yeah,
doing that for a while now.
Cameras feels flat, but I think, in terms of a song like that, because when you think about these features,
Yep.
it's like the range from, excuse me, Julian Santonia, who is like, not a major artist at all. Basically, this is their only thing they have on their
Mm-hmm.
page. Dominic Fike, who, you know, the Demars of the world love and cherish. And then SZA, who's an absolute superstar.
Superstar.
I think the thing that I want to start in terms of like the sound of this project is actually Boy in Red with SZA. Because it feels like a indie pop song from the 2010s.
That didn't feel a
Yeah,
little Girl in Red to you,
yeah,
or maybe it's just the name.
Girl in Red, I could see. Girl in Red feels like they're a lot harder than this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this sounds like a modern version of the Smiths. Like if the
Ooh,
Smiths were around in like, 2014, they'd make a song like this. Let us know in the comments. Of course, you can comment on Spotify now. You can comment on YouTube. What does Boy in Red sound like to you guys? But this is a song that I was like, I actually like this song from him. I think SZA actually makes this song work. I do think like this is one of those like lighter records that might be the kind of song that someone, this may be the only Isaiah Rashad songs they have.
Yeah,
You
I
know, it goes
agree.
on different playlists, and oh, this is Isaiah Rashad guy. Check out the other music, not the same at all.
Yeah,
But
this, go ahead.
I like him taking this route because something I really enjoyed from the blog era, that's why I mentioned him from the blog era, is like bringing back like the singing of the rappers and
Hmm.
not like in the Chris Brown Trey songs I can actually sing type of way, but I kind of mumble my way through it. I got a little melody, I figure it out.
Hmm.
Isaiah Rashad does that a bunch on this project. And that I didn't really know him for before. He had like so he again had sung a lot of his own hooks before. He had a lot some melodic raps, but a song like Boy in Red, like I don't think I had that on my bingo card on an Isaiah Rashad album in
Yeah,
2026.
I totally agree with you. I think that he was in my head more in a hip hop box, but just like different styles of hip hop. And this is him breaking the box a little bit and going for indie rock. And again, this song should have been the Dominic Fike song, like genuinely. I'm not,
Actually,
yeah, like I'm
completely
not
agree.
bullshitting. Like he actually
Yeah.
probably should have been on that song. So yeah, I think Boy in Red. Maybe I'm just not huge on the group vocals in the background during that song where I'm like it kind
Mm,
of makes it feel a little immature in some ways. So but overall, yeah, SZA's part is solid. But I'm not a big fan of SZA. Everybody on this album right now, hold on a second. Everybody on this album, I feel like you're doing the version of you I don't really love. Like for example, SZA, I'm like I'm not an indie rock SZA person. I don't think those songs are particularly good for her. She's so much more vocally talented. No, I don't even want to say that. She's more vocally like there's more adventure in her vocals.
interesting. Vocally
Yeah,
interesting.
like there's just more adventure, more depths, more emotionality that can exist when she is singing that I feel like she's kind of, reducing herself to like a nub just to fit inside of a boy in red or indie rock space. Like I don't really it doesn't really work for me in that. So I'm just like there's more to SZA than this. Like this is more
I,
to SZA.
Well, you said Dominic Fike would have worked great on that song.
Yeah,
I think that's why it works, is because Isaiah Rashad alone may not have hit with that one. I think you
right.
needed like a real vocalist to kind of, smooth things out there. So for that reason, it works for me. Another song that I like, and I want to move quickly through these because there's a few songs that I want to like give their,
Okay.
love, their shout
Yeah, give them
to.
their flowers.
Um, Superficial.
Okay.
This is another one of those songs that I was like, didn't know he had this in his bag. And I've said this about a few reviews we've done, and I think like I'm gonna keep mentioning this when it actually is applicable to the artist. Is imagine if this was his first album, and this
Hmm.
first album had Superficial, Boy in Red, Do I Look High, all these stabs that are not like actually hip hop songs. I think like we look at him totally differently as an artist if this is his first project. And I think like that is part of it where even though you're not a huge Isaiah Rashad fan, it's like Superficial is actually like a cool record. Again, it reminds me of someone who I mentioned before, like a Bakar song, or like kind of like alternative rap from that era.
Hmm.
Maybe what Kid Cudi could have been doing, if he kind of changed his sound.
Hmm.
But I don't think this is better than the actual like Isaiah Rashad rap songs. And I think that's part of listening to this project is the rap songs you like from him. Again, not you, of course, but songs like Headshots, What's Wrong, West Savannah, R.I.P. Young. It's kind of like that's a different sound from him, but he's better at that than he is at this. And I
Right.
think a lot of artists get points for doing something different or kind of taking that, experimental, you know, detour, we'll call it.
Hmm.
I don't know if he'll get those props here, because of the kind of artist he's been and where he's at in his career. But I like this. I like this detour from him. I don't know if he's great at it. I think
Yeah.
obviously time will tell. But I do like that he's has songs like Boy in Red and Superficial that are
Y-
basically just like not really rap songs, and then he raps for a little bit.
Yeah, I like Superficial. That's one of those songs that it is an indie rock song. It kind of reminded me of, Paris. Remember Paris, Texas?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it kind of reminds me of, like the very, very beginning of Paris, Texas, where I'm like, oh, like I didn't realize you can even do something like this, right? And I think that when he is his rapping, I would say on this album is strong. Right.
Of course.
I think that his rapping is pretty good, but I like a song like this where we're seeing those two things being able to mash together. It's not even mashed together right now. I think that we're just at a point in hip hop where hip hop and rock in this indie sense works together. We've seen a lot of different examples of it. So I like it. I think that it worked well for a way that it didn't work for me in Boy in Red, and I need to drill down and decipher really more why it didn't fully fit together. I guess maybe this is like I have more frames of reference for this song where I'm like, oh, it's like Gorillaz or Paris, Texas. You know what I mean? So there's something there that I really like. Maybe it's the vocal effect where it's like coming through the radio. I think that's cool. Another song that I want to bring up that I liked is Same Shit. I'm a big fan of the flow he's using on Same Shit where it's very chopped. He's like, for example, he's like, the drop, then swerve, then pass, the props, the man, the myth, the legend, the great, the plan, get money till I'm dead. Like I like the very choppy, but very you know,
It's
it's
tight.
it's tight and it's also like using very few words to progress an idea or progress a story. Whereas in hip hop, obviously, people have loved to be loquacious and very, very verbose and just like carry out like these like very elaborate rhymes. It's like, just give me the word, give me article, verb, article, noun, article, whatever, pronoun, whatever. So I thought it was cool. I like this song a lot more than I thought it would just when like reading the lyrics. But just
Understood.
just because the
Understood.
lyrics kind of leave it, it's like, oh, this is kind of bare bones. But then you hear it and you're like, oh, okay, I understand what's happening here. So I just want to bring it up. Like I like this song a lot.
Yeah, I think this was a great choice as a single.
Hmm.
This was the lead. I think, absolute banger. And I think, we talked about Absol earlier, J Rock, even Reason, who used to be on TDE. I think TDE has been known for lyricists,
Right.
but can these guys make hits? Can these guys make actual records? Schoolboy Q's gonna be the poster boy of like writing that line other than Kendrick Lamar.
Hmm.
But a song like Same Shit is like that's a lyricist making like a banger record.
Yeah.
It's like that's a lyrical ability that you show in kind of how you described it, article, noun, article, verb, like there is some like lyrical ability to be able to do that,
Hmm.
just in the performance. But it's not over rapped or overwritten. It's like, okay, this is still a banger, which I really like that he does. And then the other song that I like, and this song reminds me of an Outkast record, and the name of the song is escaping me in the comments. Y'all help me out. That's M.O.M. And this is a song that made me think of like, I like his hooks. Like he has this like vulnerability in his voice and even in his writing that kind of allows for these really cool hooks where he'll like, yeah, I'll do a weird voice or I'll sing a little bit or I'll be a little scratchy. Like he's not kind of too cool for that. And I think like the not too cool part of Isaiah Rashad actually makes him cool in a sense
Yeah.
because you get songs like this that actually work. And I think like M.O.M. is one of those records that even though it's not my favorite record on here, it's like a record that I would like use as a teaching tool for other artists.
Okay.
Because there's so much good stuff in here. In the chorus, what he does with his voice. I think of stuff like that all the time where a lot of rappers who do their own hooks kind of don't want to do these like, vocal tricks in a sense to like make the hook more catchy.
Hmm.
And he does that exactly. Like he doesn't care. So it makes a whole different voice from the other parts of the song. And then the lyrics on here, something I feel like, we've gotten this far, I haven't mentioned his lyrics really. But again, like he's known as a lyrical, miracle, spiritual
Hmm.
rapper. And I think about it in songs like Superficial and Boy in Red, where it's an indie pop song, but his lyrical content is different from the others who are doing that kind of music. So I
Right.
think in that sense, that's kind of why I like it even more. Is like, can I hear what I want to hear, but in a different vibe? He does that, and then on M.O.M. Man on a Mission. In the first verse, he says, "My mama don't want no drugs up in this house. Hide the dust. I'm levitating off this love when you doubt. It's like you flushed it. That baby don't the price to hit these heights. Don't you touch." My mind was screaming, "Jump, jump, jump. Hi, and I'm fried. Can you order some fries for me? Can you spot a lie when the government tied to it? I feast for your eyes. Now they fucking your mind. A beep at the light got me up in the fire and shit." Like this whole part is, it sounds like talking about like, his relationship with drugs and kind of him dealing with that and getting over that, and then as well how that affects him just in general life. But what I like about this is kind of the way that he talks about all these different things. Like it's not laden with slang that you can't understand,
Hmm.
but I think it's more like you need to actually hear the lyrics to understand that it's about that. M.O.M, it kind of gives a little bit of bombs over Baghdad, just the beat itself. And because the song is fun, it's like you might not realize what he's talking about. The way he's rapping it, the
Right.
fun beat. And I like that he does that and it kind of matches with the lyrics. Him saying, "I'm levitating off this love. When you doubt, it's like you flushed it." It's like that whole section is like, okay, we're dealing with someone who's lyrically advanced. And then when you see this next part, when he says, "Wait, come alive. Don't be doing a line again. In the car late waiting outside. Damn, you must be reading my mind." I think like there's a part of this like culture of hip hop, in this, last 15 years of the genre where, a lot of people have talked about it used to be drug dealers, now it's drug users. And I think there's a long time where hip hop was, "I'm doing 40 perks, I'm smoking 40 blunts."
Hmm.
And it felt absurdist in a sense, but also it was extremist, and you saw the guys like Juice WRLD, rest in peace, Future, who were taking this idea of doing drugs to the next level. Isaiah Rashad, someone who actually has had a serious drug problem in the past, and this part is more kind of like talking from an addict who's recovering and dealing with their past more than glorifying it. Like, see how cool I am doing all these drugs. And
Hmm.
I feel like this is a side that we don't see as much in hip hop. It's not kind of victimizing himself. He's not like laying down, but he's also being like, here are kind of the nuances of my life with it. Because he starts off the verse with saying, "Mama don't want no drugs up in this house. Hide the dust." And I think that kind of sets you off, as in he's not talking about weed. It's not anything small. Like he's doing real drugs in this house, or real drugs are in this house, and my mother doesn't want them here.
Yeah, I think that he even really drills down on it on Ain't Giving Up, where you're really, especially like verse one is like verse one is probably one of my favorite verses from him, where it's like he's combining that portion that I was talking about on the same shit, where you're just like thing after thing after thing in the verse instead of just like having to explain every single thing that is happening, but then also doing that in later in the verse. So in verse one he's like, I heard the house got motion, physics, poses, pictures, oceans, liquor shiners. Rob, I'm still fucking up functions. Major, don't do a line, nigga, focus. Physics, profits, pictures, praying that I got enough dough, weed tainted. Y'all better not give him no. So y'all better not sell him no coke. You out of line. That was frozen. Victims, closure, sickness, colder. Fix you. Time is all day. Fuck up, fucking up mostly. Cage 'em. A few rehabs, then a month. I'm dizzy, scathing, lusting, anxious, suffering. Fuck it. Not because they don't fuck with my money. So you could see, like in that section where I'm telling you where he's just like saying specific verbs, nouns, whatever. Physics, poses, pictures, oceans, liquor, right? And then it goes physics, profits, pictures. So you notice that it's shrinking, like the the amount of things that he's thinking of is now shrinking. And then it goes, the next one is victims, closure, sickness, colder, fix you. So now it's getting darker and worse, right? And then the last one is scathing, lusting, anxious, suffering. Fuck it. So you're seeing in that verse the progression of what is happening to a person when they're getting addicted to drugs, right? Oh, you're frozen. Ladies and
Wait,
gentlemen,
wait,
we
wait,
lo
wait. Oh,
Oh, you were
frozen.
muted and then you were muted and then
Oh,
you
you're
went
yeah.
frozen.
Oh, you were frozen for me. Okay.
Okay. So you're seeing throughout this verse like the descendant or the descending of him basically. Like, he's talking about physics and poses the ocean and stuff, then liquors at the very end. And then you see it shorten that section and then it gets to the point where it's victims, closure, sickness. So this is what I'm talking about, where I'm like, actually, rapping is very strong in an unusual way. Like that's unusual. Not very many people are able to use that sort of literary device to progress a verse. Like I'm just talking about one verse, not a whole song. So that's what I'm saying. Okay, this guy actually is really putting in work here when it comes to his rapping to be able to do something like that. So I just want to mention it, and it also connects to what you're saying. And I'm like, this guy can really rap, and the production when it comes to that song, I feel like reinforces everything else that is happening too. I think that the use of the drums is very, very Kendrick Lamar-esque.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much a
He
TDE sounding song. You know what I mean?
he's gotten that before. You're not the first person that's saying that.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, it reminded me obviously an early version of Kendrick Lamar, like OD, like overly dedicated type of
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick Lamar. But yeah, I think it sounded cool. Production sounds good. There's a lot of good production songs on this album. Happy
I
Hour.
got one. I got
Go
one
ahead.
last song
Yeah,
before
yeah.
we talk about what this means for his career
Okay.
because this album is impressive in the way that you could convince me all these songs are on different albums,
Okay.
even the hip hop songs. Like same shit in M.O.M. Like that does not feel like the same artist,
Mm-hmm.
doing both
Mm-hmm.
of those. And then Boy in Red is like a whole different artist completely. But there's a song on here that reminds me of Larry June, and I feel like Larry June is big yacht rap playlist vibes, and that's Scared to Look
I
Down.
knew you were gonna say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Um, this is one that I'm like, he works on this. Like, it sounds like Carter on the beat, even though it's not. It has that kind of like Bay Area currency, old Wiz Khalifa sound. And again, he fits on here. Like that's the thing that I think like I liked Isaiah Rashad, but I wasn't a fan. Like something I said to someone this week about him is like when he comes on, cool, but I'm not running to play his records.
Right.
And I think what I kind of learned from this album in terms of like, him as an artist, the cohesiveness of this is he is probably one of the better like actual really good lyrical rappers who can be malleable and like make good songs. And I feel like he rides the line of like you can be like, okay, I can tell there's a good rapper here, but it's not the idea of this rapper is almost too good to make this song, or they're over rapping this, or they can't, stay in a pocket. Like he finds because think about this, him and Larry June in terms of rapping ability, worlds apart.
Right.
Worlds apart. And he fits on this Larry June ass song and sounds smooth. So him being able to do that is kind of like I feel like we've taken it for granted in a sense because I don't know how many rappers, can make, an M.O.M. and the same shit and a Scared to Look Down and like have the lyrics be good on all of them.
Yeah, I think that his versatility should be applauded because you think of a song like that, how watery and vibey it is. Very watery. The synths are very low key, and he's flowing over that. And then you have a song like 719 Freestyle, where it's a little bit more trappy, a little bit more aggressive, and he's still able to, have the separated vocals where it's kind of calming it down in a little bit, but his actual rapping is more aggressive. So his versatility and his musicality, really, like being able to incorporate so many different elements and change the tone of particular songs, even though that the production is drastically different, is pretty sick. I like Superpowers as well. Loving the horns on Superpowers. Like I think that there is a lot of good production, happening on this album just overall. And I just want to point out some of my favorite versions or favorite versions of him basically on this album. I think it's cool. I'm surprised. I'm
Pleasantly surprised.
pleasantly surprised. What did you think about the album cover?
I actually like the album cover. It's just like one of those rare things where you can't really see,
Yeah, I'm about to.
even who it
Is
is.
he missing
Like
a head?
it's him in front of this like big wall. No, I think he's just covering his head from what I can see. Like he's just kind of like, lean back type of deal.
Okay.
But I like it because here's the two things. I think the color of the cover and the album actually go together. I do feel like there's something there in terms of cohesion. But I also feel like this is a cover that you're gonna kind of remember as an Isaiah Rashad fan. Like
Mm.
the image is so kind of not even dynamic, but like sharp and striking that you're gonna remember this image. So I like the cover.
Yeah, me too. I think the cover is dope. I love the color of it. It's like this very burnt orange, that is bordering on red, but not. Like you can tell that it's orange. So I think that that's really cool. He is headless. I did a very very deep zoom.
He is headless. Okay. Deep zoom. I love that.
Yeah, enhance, enhance. But yeah, I think the cover is cool. I think it's also kind of representative of what the music sounds like. In a way, there's a little bit of it's like contemplative in a
Hmm.
way, and I feel like I feel the contemplation, the loneliness, the solitude, on the cover and in the album. So I think it's pretty good. Um, what about for his career? What are we thinking? What? Yeah, what? I'm actually. You tell me. What do you think? And then I'll come in. Afterwards.
I think this is good for his career.
Okay.
I think like an artist with this reputation of being like consistently good for, 2012 is when he came in, or I guess 2014 to TDE, so over a decade. This continues on this project. Like that reputation has not been sullied by this album. Excuse me. And I think the stabs at the indie pop, the different versions of hip hop, like again, M.O.M to Scared to Look Down, two different artists, two different decades, honestly, in terms of sonics. So I think this is actually good for his career. And I do think like the stuff outside of the music is helpful. Like I think TDE now is kind of like moving into a different phase of what TDE is, with Kendrick leaving,
Yep.
SZA being kind of the face. Isaiah Rashad now is like an OG of TDE in a sense, which is crazy. Because he was the new kid at one point.
Yeah.
But he's not been there long enough. He's one of the OGs. And then I think like the stuff outside of music in terms of like the scandal where his sex tape was leaked and he was outed as being bisexual. He's been speaking about that in interviews, being very open about that. And he said his fans actually have like liked him more since that happened.
Okay.
So I think this actually is helpful for his career in general. Just him coming back out, the album being as good as it is, everything around the album feels like it's been positive. And then last but not least, I think that this is the kind of album that actually might bring new fans to him. He is like one of the top artists I feel like is not a new fans person. Like you've been there since Sylvia demo and you stay till it's been awful. Like,
Yeah.
you've been here the whole time. This is the first album I feel like he might get some new fans. And I feel like for someone like him, that's just extra gravy.
Yeah.
So definitely a plus for his career.
Yeah, I think for an outsider, looking in at him, I think it's a plus because it's been 5 fucking years. So the fact that you're coming back and releasing music, I would say is a plus. And then I would say that it's also a plus in a way where there's a versatility that he's demonstrating that I didn't really feel like he was doing on previous albums, at least that I heard, and I have heard. I want to say the past two albums I've heard them. He's demonstrating a level of versatility that I didn't think that he had. And you mentioned that, songs, there are some songs that you're just like convinced that could just be on a different playlist. Like in a way that the song with like Boy in Red, that could just be on an indie rock playlist and nobody else that's really a contemporary of his would be there, maybe Lil Yachty, but that's kind of it.
Hmm.
So I think that that's a plus for him because like he's just like in different spaces that he wouldn't be in otherwise. So I think that's pretty good, man. Do you think it's a no skips?
It's a soft skip.
Oh, okay.
It's a soft skip. It's a
Okay.
soft skip. But I will say I've seen multiple people on the interwebs saying this is a no skips.
Okay.
So people do feel that way. In the comments, you guys let us know, is this a no skips? What's your favorite song? But to me, it's a soft skip. There's some songs on here that I'm like, okay, but it's close.
Yeah, I would say it's a soft skip as well, and for the reason that the songs that I don't really like are inoffensive. Like Boy in Red, it's like it's okay. Um, then the last few songs, Cameras, like I mentioned with Dominic Fike, it's fine. Then it's like really Cameras, Act Normal, 10 States Away, it's okay. And I think those are the songs for me and Isaiah Rashad, just in general, where it's just like so many of his songs, I'm like, it's fine. But there are some that broke through, or more than some. There's a good amount that broke through where I'm like, okay, like something is
Hmm.
happening, Like I need some. I don't know. Maybe I'm just that person when I listen to music. We got to be going somewhere. There's got to be something happening. There's got to be some sort of destination that we're progressing towards. So that's a plus for me. Soft skip. And do you think it's a vinyl cop though?
I actually would cop this on vinyl. I actually would. Yeah, I actually would. I don't know if I will, but I would. I
Okay.
would.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, but I would say that if it was on discount, I would grab it, and especially because of the vinyl cover is probably gonna be pretty sick. I like the way the cover looks a lot. Like I like the
Yeah,
cover a
same.
lot. And this section, we used to just do this section for fun, where talking about the album cover, but this is now like a genuine portion of the review because you could win a Grammy
Hmm.
because of your album cover, right? So this is actually like very significant now. Yeah. So it is. I would say it's if you catch me on the right day, if it's on sale, if it's
Hmm.
on sale,
Hmm.
I'll grab
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything else to say before we get to the grand reveal,
I think you got to go first for the score.
the
I know
score?
the fans are dying to hear from King Grant
Okay.
on It's Been Awful.
So it's been awful by Isaiah Rashad. I'm gonna say that it's a seven. It's a seven. It's a very, very 7.0. The 7.0, it's good. There's some good songs. I would say there's a lot of good songs. I like the new Sublime, even though it's kind of this like an intro, it's a setup, but I like that. M.O.M, same shit I mentioned. Ain't Giving Up, I mentioned Superpowers, 719, Freestyle. I can't really remember who else I've given the same, but like, yeah, this is a seven, but just like crawled over the line type of seven. We didn't really talk about Happy Hour that I actually liked Happy Hour.
Hmm.
And Ain't Giving Up, we talked about. Superpowers, I mentioned. 719 Freestyle, I mentioned. So, I'm mentioning the songs. I think that they're pretty good. I think that just like features are kind of weak. And that back section of Cameras to Nothing to Hide, very nondescript. And that is like a cardinal sin in the Démar books, I think. I think that's what it is. For me, I'm just like, if you're just
Hmm.
making music that's just nondescript, it's like I'm not really a big fan of your music. And I feel like that's what he was doing at the very end. I'm like, don't do that. Just give me more interesting things that you were doing at the beginning. So it's a 7 out of 10, 7.0000000. Just got there. 7 out of 10 for me. Adriel, give them the good news. I know that they're waiting for you to be like, actually, this is a 10.
No, 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 no. We're not gonna go that far. But for It's Been Awful by Isaiah Rashad, this is 7.5 for me.
Okay.
I was at a seven coming into this, so we actually were closer than it seems.
I know, then it sounds,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, but I think what makes this it is just a good album. Like it's not a great album,
hmm
it's a good album. I think you can consider it's a very good album if there's some songs that you love on here. But I think why it's 7.5 for me is that this album actually is better as a full project. I think there are songs like Same Shit that you can go back to, Happy Hour I like as well, Scared to Look Down, that like kind of stick out as those dynamic records that you can like show your friends and put on the aux. But as a full project, like I said, it's a soft skip. Like even the songs that we don't love are pretty inoffensive.
Hmm.
Like Boy in Red isn't worth running over to your vinyl to change a song. Like it's not
Yeah, that's
that
true.
bad. So I think like as a full album, this album does way better. And I think the kind of thing that it suffers from is like more a hip hop thing where in hip hop it has been very single driven for the past, couple of decades where not having the dynamic record hurts it. But he has that. I think Same Shit is that. And I think Happy Hour can be a version of that. So for me, 7.5, one of the better rap albums this year. I don't know if it will get that kind of praise, but I think as a full project, he's done well with this. Now, what other people to ask? But I'm gonna ask the comments. Okay, Isaiah Rashad fans, where does this rank in his discography? Isaiah Rashad fans will tell you he has 7 classics out of 4 albums. That's a whole separate conversation. But where does this rank in his discography? Because his discography is very strong. This is another strong, addition into that. Where does this rank in his discography? I think again he has done well with this. 54 minutes, 16 songs. I've always compared him to like his TDE brethren, the
Hmm.
ones who don't have as many hits, the Absols, Reason when he was there, J Rock before he became, this guy who had some hit songs on his last album. But I think Isaiah Rashad has been very TDE in terms of towing the line of showing that you're lyrically astute and as well making good records. This album is the same there. So I don't know what everyone else thinks. Okay, get in the comment section, please and thank you. On YouTube, album mode on YouTube. Like this video, comment, subscribe to us. Are we too high on this? Are we too low on this project? And where do you rank It's Been Awful in Isaiah Rashad's discography? So you find us on the interwebs, okay? Instagram, X, TikTok, Album Mode Pod, and of course, your podcast platforms. If you want to see us go up the rankings on your podcast platforms, do us a solid, leave us a rating and a review, okay? 5 stars, not a single star less. That's how we get up those rankings. Please do us a solid. And until next time, know yourself, know your worth.
Later days.